Hi. You probably don't know me, but odds are you feel bad for me. You see, I'm Prospector's wife, Tara. I know what you're thinking. Oh, that poor woman. The truth is, he's the sweetest guy. Most of the time. But when he starts rambling, yeah, you have no idea. It's actually far worse than you can imagine. Here's a little taste of my world. It's time for Prospector's Picky Pet Peeves on Rock 107.
I turn on the Winter Olympics to watch someone rocket down an icy mountain. Instead, I get their entire emotional origin story. I don't need to know their childhood hardship, their inspiring injury, or that their dad taught them perseverance using a snow shovel. The race lasts less than a minute. The backstory is like a Ken Burns documentary.
Nobody cares.
I mean, nothing says elite competition like scores of 9.71, 9.72, 9.71, 999 repeating. So one was technically better, but only in a way that no human can really perceive. One athlete sticks the landing like a superhero. Another barely survives gravity. The difference in score, 2/100ths of a shrug? This can't be why I spent all those math classes learning decimals.
Good Lord.
And everything. Everything's on tape delay. So now I've got to avoid the news, dodge social media, ignore group texts, and treat my phone like it's radioactive. I'm not watching the Olympics. I'm hiding from the internet. Congrats, Olympics. You turned watching TV into a stealth mission I can't possibly win.
Seriously? You think that was bad? Try living with him. Love you, honey. Mean it.
You might be amazed and a little creeped out by this. Yeah, good morning. It's Prospector Show on Rock 107. Have you seen the Chat GPT caricature trend that's been going around social media? You can ask Chat GPT to draw a caricature based on everything it knows about you. And people are shocked by how much it knows. Now, you might need to upload a photo first. A standard prompt that people are using is create a caricature of me and my job based on everything you know. And it should spit out a decent drawing. The part that's blowing people's mind is the little details. It might have your dog in there, or know that you're a Disney adult, or that you love true crime. Now, I did this over the weekend, and I shared it on my Instagram. I knew, or rather it knew, that I worked in radio, that I loved bicycles and craft beer, although it put an IPA on the counter, and I'm more of a porter guy. It also made some mistakes. It gave me 3 arms. And it put a drawing of some kind of green creature on a napkin on the counter, which has me confounded. There is nothing about my puppy, my sports team, or my wife. So no Yankees, Rangers, or Rams memorabilia. So it did a decent job, but it made some mistakes. But experts are warning there could be some risk to this, especially if you feed it more info to get a good pic. Then share that picture on social media. A cybersecurity expert tells Forbes magazine that he's worried about people sharing personal info without fully considering how that data may be used or retained. In other words, OpenAI could burn you down the road and leak it. Sharing the image online also comes with risks, too. Anything personal, like your pet's name, things like that, could be used to steal your identity. It's not as bad as posting a picture of your driver's license online, but generally the same idea. I thought of it as harmless fun, and the fact that it gave me 3 arms, which I didn't really even notice till somebody pointed it out to me, made me laugh harder than it should have.
On Rock 107.
A toddler in Missouri had to be rescued from a claw machine game. This happened on Saturday. 2-year-old Cooper King climbed up into the machine when his parents weren't watching. His mom says she took her eye off him for like 15 seconds. He was stuck inside for 20 minutes before an employee showed up with a key. By all accounts, the kid had a blast.
Thanks. We needed that. The brighter side of Prospector on Rock 107.
You're in the Prospector Show on Rock 107. So this is what the Olympics have come to. You train your entire life, you wreck your body, you become the best, and you beat the best athletes on the planet, and they hand you a medal that apparently needs a warning label and a carrying case. So far, Team USA has won exactly 2 medals, both gold and both may be broken. Multiple Winter Olympians are reporting that their medals are cracking. Yeah, chipping, breaking. Not after 10 years, not after a bar fight, simply from being held, which is wild. These are people who jump off mountains or planks. But the medal, that's like, whoa. Easy, Hulk. Take it easy on us. Officials, well, they're investigating, which means somewhere there's a meeting where a very serious person has said something like, we tried not touching them. Maybe that's the solution. At this point, the safest place for your Olympic medal is still inside the box, in another room, away from everybody. So before you win that medal, you celebrate greatness, excellence, human achievement. Listen closely to this important message from the Olympic Committee.
Attention athlete. Before handling your official Olympic medal, please review the following safety guidelines. Do not drop. Do not shake. Do not celebrate. Do not make sudden movements, including joy. Medal is rated safe for display only, in a climate-controlled room, behind glass, while you stand nearby, thinking about what could have been. If cracks appear, remain calm. This is normal. Replacement medals will arrive shortly, after an investigation and several meetings. The official Olympic medal. Victory not guaranteed. Structural integrity, definitely not.
Selfish. He labors to get through most social interactions.
Sometimes you can be kind of a jerk.
Today, he asked the question, am I a jerk? On Rock 107.
All right, so we all know the Super Bowl was this past Sunday. Congrats to the Seahawks. But it seems everybody and their brother wanted my wife and I to come over and watch the Super Bowl with them. And look, it is nice to be wanted. But the last thing I want to do is watch the Super Bowl anywhere but at my house. I have a very rich uncle who's incredibly nice to my wife and I and has been very gracious about inviting me to his country club to play golf and the like. Well, he invited me and the wife to watch the Super Bowl at his place. And Tara saw the invite on Facebook and readily accepted, of course. Now, as I said, I don't want to go to anyone's house or anywhere else for a Super Bowl party. I want to watch it at home. So I said, well, I'm not going. And she says, well, I already said we're going. That's when I told her, well, you got to call him back and say that I'm not going. And she's like, why me? He's your uncle. And that's when I told her, because you said yes, so now you've got to say no. Does that make me a jerk? What do you think? John, check it in on Facebook.com/Angry Prospector says, yeah, you're a jerk. We're checking in on the Rock Lines, Rock 107. Am I a jerk?
Well, I have a question for you.
Okay.
How comfortable is your couch?
My couch is exceedingly comfortable. It's the most comfortable sitting space I've ever been on.
Well, you might be on it for a while if you make your wife call.
Okay, so am I a jerk or not?
Yes.
I knew that was going yes. Come on. David says, no, not a jerk, but she should have just gone anyway. Or you too, and actually just keep that free gold coming, which I'm assuming he means all these stuff that he's very nice enough to hand us over to. That's a point, but I still don't want to watch the Super Bowl anywhere but home. Text it in on the Rock Lines, 1-888-ROCK-107. 99%, actually 99.9% of the time, you are a jerk, but in this case, you are clean. Your wife should have asked you first. In addition, I think by now she should probably know your SB default to be home on the couch. Hey, I will take that W for the 0.1% of the time I'm not a jerk. Christy says, enjoy playing miniature golf, dude. Which I'm assuming says I'm a jerk and definitely says I'm not going to be playing any golf on the country club anytime soon. We're checking in on the Rock Lines here. Got to find out if I'm a jerk. Rock 107, what do you think?
I don't think so.
You're okay with this, huh?
I'm fine with it.
There's no problem with me saying, look, wife, you said yes, you got to call him and say no?
Yeah, that's no problem. I try that with my husband all the time.
Does it work with your husband?
No, I end up doing it anyway.
See, that's the thing. You might end up making that call yourself. I'm sticking to my guns, right? Or did at this point. Guy says, yes, you're a jerk. I thought I would get a little more love on this one. Text it in on the Rock Line. Not a jerk. We should all suffer our own consequences. You're just keeping her responsible. Let's be fair. I'm just too lazy to call myself. But I'm using this as an excuse. And Margaret says, your uncle. So, yeah, you're a jerk. You need to call. By the way, is he single? Sorry, Margaret. No, he's not single. He's married and a couple of kids and all that kind of good stuff. We're trying to figure out today if I'm a jerk. My wife and I get an invite from my very nice, gracious, rich uncle who invites us to his house to watch the Super Bowl. She accepts the invitation, and I'm like, well, I'm not going. She says, oh, you better call him and tell him. I'm like, no, you said yes. You call him. You tell him. Does that make me a jerk? Rock 107, what do you think?
Prospector, I don't think you're a jerk, but I have an idea for you.
Okay.
Why don't you let your wife go by herself?
She can do whatever she wants. She's more than welcome to go. I would never stop her from going. I just, since she accepted for both of us, she's got to let him know I ain't coming.
Why would I ever think I can control what she does? She's her own autonomous adult and does what she wants when she wants, and that's the way it should be, right? Kevin texted in, or actually hit us up on social media, Instagram, said, just get loaded and watch the game wherever and stop being a jerk. Texted in on the Rock lines, Matt, you're not a jerk. She said yes without double checking with you, so I say this one's on her. And Maya, honesty is the best policy. You should man up and call yourself. Today, you are a jerk. In the question of am I a jerk for telling my wife she's got to call my uncle and say, no, we're not going to the Super Bowl party after she accepted the invitation without checking with me, the answer is, and by a slight margin, I thought it would be a little more crushing than this, but the answer is, according to you, Northeast PA, yes, I am a jerk.
Ladies and gentlemen, grab the kids, call your neighbors, and gather around the radio.
It's now time to announce the winner of Prospector's Jam Bag of the Day, as decided by you at rock107.com.
We uncover the most baffling, ridiculous, pathetic, cockeyed, laughable, preposterous blunders in the world of misdeeds. Nominee number 1.
And you thought doing this in a parking lot would be dangerous. Some idiot in New Jersey needs a new truck after he did donuts on a frozen lake and fell through the ice. Someone called 911 last week after they saw the roof of the truck sticking out of the ice. The rest of the vehicle was submerged. They didn't know if anyone was in the truck or not. Thankfully, the driver made it out and just left the truck there. It happened near Eagleswood, New Jersey, just up the coast from Atlantic City. The mayor called it stupidity at its finest. No word on the make or model, but the average full-size pickup weighs around 3 tons, so 6,000 pounds. They haven't released the guy's name, but he's a 44-year-old man, and he's facing charges for reckless driving and leaving the scene of an accident. He also didn't have a valid driver's license. Last I heard, his truck is still in the lake. Obviously, a total loss.
Nominee number 2.
Nothing says priorities are scrambled like committing a violent crime and then worrying about your gaming schedule. Police in England arrested a man for the murder of his ex-girlfriend. During interviews with officers, the man became emotional and reportedly sobbed. Not just about what he'd done, but about the consequences. Specifically, he told police he was devastated that going to prison meant he would never get to play Grand Theft Auto 6 when it comes out. The comment quickly stood out to investigators, given the seriousness of the crime and the timing of his concern. Authorities say that statement was made after he was taken into custody and processed. The man was later convicted and sentenced to prison, where access to new video games and consoles is limited. The case has since gained attention online, largely because of the unexpected thing the suspect chose to mourn after his arrest.
And the winner is
the murderer, who was upset because he won't get to play Grand Theft Auto 6. Yeah, that's the real tragedy here. You're the Yam Bag of the Day, and we'll move on to Friday's Yam Bag of the Week competition. Keep it here for all the nominees for Prospector's Yam Bag of the Day, weekday mornings on Rock 107. Thanks for listening to Prospector's Prime Cuts podcast. Be sure to catch us live weekdays from 5:30 to 10 a.m. on Rock 107 or online at rock107.com or the Rock 107 app powered by Vape Dragons, a free download for your Android or iPhone. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, or wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss Prospector's Prime Cuts.